I am quite surprised that there was a character in this chapter of Toriko that got characterization, even though this character is not as important to some of the other characters in this series. I have to hand it to the mangaka. I really do, for giving a character that really hasn't been that vital characterization. And I feel like we're getting a taste at what we should expect from the remainder of Toriko. Because for this one chef that hasn't had that big of a spotlight in the series, you know, he's been around, but not the biggest spotlight, for him to have, like, this own chapter, like this one chapter wrapped around him and giving him characterization and finding out more about his motive and one of his main lines and dialogue, like, you know, 1mm, it actually clarifies a lot, and it makes me, as a reader of Toriko, assume that all the other chefs that we don't know much about, like all the individual chefs that are participating in this cook-off, this Shokugeki, they are going to be going through characterization as well. For instance, when they do whatever they need to do for their, like, contests, they are going to also get their backstories revealed, where we find out more about them, which I really hope that's what goes down, because this is a really good shining light with this chapter, because this lets us know, as the reader, that the mangaka is going to be going around and giving characterization to all these other characters that we don't know much about. We know some, but not a lot. And also, when we get into the other arcs, like the different continents and stuff, the areas, we also might get characterization of other characters that we don't know fully about as well. So I'm actually looking forward to this, because this is what the chapter does. It gives us hope and lets us know that we might get characterization for these other characters that haven't been the biggest of spotlights in the series. And that's what the chapter is. That's the best way to describe this chapter, chapter 334 of Toriko. So what is this chapter? Like, what is it about? I know it's about the characterization backstory, but what does it do? Like, what is it about? So, the chapter, it represents Yuda and his motivation to be a chef and his full course, along with what drove him to become what he is today, and why he has this famous line of, like, you know, I won't miss it by a millimeter or anything. Like, you know how he always says 1mm? That's what he brought up in this. We kind of find out that there was a point in time in his life to where he met this kid. This kid wanted a full course and named out this entire full course this kid wanted that was like medical supplies for people to help him out with illnesses. He realizes that he fucked up and he was overconfident, and he pretty much messed up this certain ingredient to where it killed the kid, which indirectly he missed it by a millimeter. And which eventually he got his famous line, you know, 1mm, because he fucked up and he got overconfident. So it's really cool to find out the meaning behind why he says that phrase so much and why he always says it, and finding out why he is a chef and his motivation that drives him throughout the series. So the chapter of Toriko, very good. It was a very good and badass chapter of Toriko, just to give this explanation to some of these characters. Now, besides that, one thing I have to say, when it came towards the end of the episode with the gravity, like, you know, cooking or prepping up the room, the cooking area, when you saw, like, the gravity going straight up, that was pretty damn impressive. Like, holy god, I gotta give it to Yuda for that. That was pretty damn impressive. I did not expect to see the room being altered and then going straight up to where the gravity goes up instead of all directions. He was able to control the prepping room to where he could cook at his own pace. That was pretty smart, and ingenious, actually. Very ingenious and smart. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do you all feel about this week's chapter of Toriko? You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.